my watch on, so I think I'm pretty good. And Joe is going to give me signals also. Good morning. Welcome to our community meditation. And good morning to all of you who are joining us online today. Thank you all for being with us as we connect in consciousness. My name is Clay T. White, and I am your practitioner for the day. Please take a moment now to silence all your cell phones so that we may have an uninterrupted experience together. This meditation is a blend of spoken word and silence, accompanied by beautiful music. It will last approximately 15 minutes. Joy to the world. Let every heart prepare room for spirit. God rules the world with truth and grace. Make music to the Lord. Make a joyful noise unto the Lord no matter where you are. The law and the Lord. There are universal laws that help us understand the greatness of God. Let's contemplate a few of these laws. The law of divine oneness. We are all connected through creation. So therefore, our actions matter. Now silently make a joyful noise unto the Lord. Release your truth unto the law. The law of correspondence. Our lives are created by the subconscious pattern we repeat every day. Are your patterns servicing you? Break those patterns that are not. And then go within and praise the Lord. Release your truth unto the law. The law of attraction. Attract a different set of circumstances. Change your vibration to attract people, places, and things on a positive frequency. Now allow the joy to bubble up. The law of cause and effect. Be aware of how your actions and decisions are affecting you and those around you. Dismiss any negative energy. And then don't worry. Just be joy-filled. God does marvelous things. God brings joy out of sorrow, laughter out of tears, and good out of the not so good. But what is joy? Joy is an emotion that is a result of the Holy Spirit dwelling within you. Joy flows from the heart, and that heart is Christ-centered. Feel that joy right now, that Christ-centered joy. Joy is something more than a feeling we experience when things are going well. Joy is an ongoing state of mind and heart for the Christ follower. It is present when life is peaceful and free of pain, and it is present when life swirls around us, chaotic and troubled. Whatever state you're in right now, just allow the joy to swirl around you, to swirl from within you. Joy is different from happiness. Joy is sustaining in a way that happiness can never be. Happiness comes and goes depending on the circumstances. Joy abides. Feel that abiding joy. It is always present. You can always draw it up from within. The joy I know is a result of being a child of God. It is God working within me, pointing me toward the joy that is mine as a part of my inheritance in the Almighty. The joy you know is a result of being a child of God. It is God working within you, pointing you toward the joy that is yours as a part of your inheritance in the Almighty. That joy is real. Joy is a God-centered confidence that sustains us in the midst of trials, prompts us to turn toward our one true portion, and guides us through troubling times. That's joy. It guides us through the troubling times, through the good times. It is always present. That's joy. And now return to this place where you've had your feet firmly on the floor. Return now. And know that, and so it is. So now we can get up and we can stretch our legs for a moment. Our service starts in about 15 minutes, starts at 10 o'clock.
Keeping it real, keeping it real, keeping it real, keeping it real, keeping it real with Reverend Laura. Keeping it real, keeping it real, keeping it real, keeping it real, keeping it real with Reverend Laura.
This is Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Las Vegas. At CSL Greater Las Vegas, it is our mission to inspire spiritual discovery through community connection, exploration, and celebration. This mission supports the all-inclusive vision of Centers for Spiritual Living worldwide, in which we envision a world that works for everyone and all of creation.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Las Vegas. I'm Reverend Laura Hallett, and it is my pleasure to be the senior minister here. Oh, welcome. I see some faces I haven't seen in a long time. Thank you all for being back here with us. I see some new faces. Welcome to our center here. We are hosting our services here until our new building is completed in the fall. It'll be over on East Russell Road. We're very excited about that. If you don't know who we are, we were founded in the early 1900s by a man named Ernest Holmes. It's based on Judeo-Christian teachings, inclusive of scientific findings, and heart-centered and wisdom-centered. We are very much about inclusivity and allowing ourselves to live a very expressive life of free will, choice, and individual responsibility. We have over 400 centers across the world. We are international. We're in 32 different countries. I think it's 430 chapters right now that we have for Centers for Spiritual Living. So we've been around a while, and we are doing good work in the world. And so I'm so glad that you guys decided to join us this morning for our Sunday morning celebration service. We start with music. Our music director, Justin, is going to be singing a song, and he's going to sing it, and then you repeat it back to him, right?
Yes.
The verses, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so you'll repeat it. He'll sing it, and you repeat it back. And there's some directions in the music, too. So follow the directions as you go along. It's not as complicated as it sounds.
Straight ahead. It's straight ahead.
Afterwards, we're going to have a little meet and greet. Justin will tell you when to, greet your neighbors. And when the music stops, pretend it's musical chairs and you need to be back in your seat. Okay, I'll turn it over to Justin.
All right. Good. Good morning, CSLGLV. So if you feel comfortable, please stand and join us in this opening song, We Come Together. Take a look at the person next to you. At the person next to you. Say, I recognize the God in you. Now feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. Now take a look at the person next to you. Say, God loves you and I love you too. Now feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. We come together. We come together, we come together, in the name of love. All right. Take a look at the person next to you. Say namaste, I bow to you. Now feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. Yeah, yeah. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, we come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, we come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, we come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. All right. If you feel comfortable, greet your neighbor.
It's slowing down. Here comes the end of the music. Good morning. You just have to stop it. Okay, that was the end of the music. I think we need to make a prize. Maybe people would go back to their seats quicker if there was a prize getting into their seats. Yes, spiritual lifting. Okay, I have this big gong at home, Justin. Maybe I should bring that. We can use the gong.
Yeah, you could wear a headband like Alex Van Halen and crash
okay.
it.
They told us in ministerial school this was like herding cats, but yeah, I didn't believe them. Okay, I just want to give a special shout out to those of you that are joining us online today. We have almost as many people online during our services we do in person, and so we're wonderful to include our online audience with us today. So if you would, turn around and wave to the camera. Just let them all know you're here. And I want to thank our practitioners for the day. Joining us online is Leslie McKinnon, and in person we have Merlin Hart and Christine Page, and our practitioner of the day is Clay T. White. And so I'm going to invite Clay T. up right now to give us an opening prayer just to set the tone for our time together.
Great. So first, our affirmation of the day. I'm going to read it first, and then I'm going to ask you to repeat it with me. It's very short, so you'll remember it. When I embrace joy, everything else in my life falls into place. When I embrace joy, everything else in my life falls into place. So now I'll ask you, after a short musical, no? Okay, I'm not going to ask you to do that. I'm just going to ask you to go into prayer with me. My prayer partner this morning reminded me that God is all there is. So let's just start with that. God is all there is. God is magnificent. God is the creator. God is peace and power and abundance and joy and love. And we are all of that, created in the image and likeness. So let's affirm that this beingness allows us to accept the responsibility to be the best that we can be. We are centered in the Spirit. I broadcast mental vibes of confidence, of love. How wonderful to know that each of us stands on holy ground. No matter where we are, sitting, standing, makes no difference. We are on holy ground. I'm so grateful. I am so grateful as we set the tone. We are on holy ground. I release this blessing unto the law, and so it is.
There's been a storm brewing inside of me. Clouds moving around my heart. Something's changing that I can't see. I'm stuck in what I know is safe, but not where I'm supposed to be. And I feel the call of something more. I feel the call of something I never felt before. I feel the call of something more. I feel the call and it's asking, what am I here for? 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 They say that pain pushes till the vision pulls. Feels like my safety nets have fallen down now. I wish I had a map of where to go, but I got this feeling in my soul. When I get there I will know. And I feel the call of something more. I feel the call of something I never felt before. I feel the call of something more. I feel the call and it's asking, what am I here for? 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 I want to make a move right now, though I don't know when or how. When I trust and know the truth, my heart will point the way. Yeah. There is more of me to share, so today I do declare I will take a step in faith and let my light shine. I feel the call of something more. I feel the call of something I never felt before. I feel the call of something more. I feel the call of something I never felt before. I feel the call of something more. I feel the call and it's asking, what am I here for? 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 What am I here for?
Thank you, Justin, and thank you, Clay T, for the beautiful invocation. So this month, as part of our yearly theme of building a community, we are looking at one of the aspects that we think is vital for a community, and that is joy. And so all month long, I've been speaking about joy and different ways that joy shows up for us personally, shows up in our relationships, shows up in the community that we're building. And today we're talking about joy to the world. You know, I love that song. Remember the song from the 70s, Joy to the World? I almost had Justin sing it, but there are a few words in there you can't sing in church, so. I could change them, you know. I actually named my cat after the Jeremiah was a bullfrog thing. But, you know, I was also a teenager at the time. So for this month of looking at joy, I chose a book which is a phenomenal account of a week that the Archbishop Desmond Tutu and His Holiness the Dalai Lama spent together celebrating the Dalai Lama's 80th birthday. And the book was written from the conversations that went on at that time. And it didn't start out to be about joy, but that's what these two men are. If you've ever listened to the Dalai Lama speak, or actually all you got to do is look at his face, and it just exudes joy. Because as Clay T said in her meditation earlier this morning, joy is not just something that happens to us. Happiness is dependent upon the circumstances that we have, but joy is a soul quality. Joy is something that comes from within us out into the world. And you can see it on the faces of these two men. They exude joy in every moment that they live. Unfortunately, the Archbishop has left us now, but his joy is still contagious. It's contagious in the works, the books that he's written, the videos that we have of him. It is still this spontaneous feeling of joy coming out of these two men. And so they said that there are 8 pillars of joy. And so I've been working on those 8 pillars throughout the month. The first 4 pillars are about the head, qualities of the mind. And that was perspective, humility, humor, and acceptance. And the other 4 qualities are about the heart. And it's forgiveness. It's gratitude. And today's talk is on compassion and generosity. Compassion and generosity are world work qualities. That's what we do when we are putting ourselves out into the world. That's what we do when we are interacting with others, is if we can develop a greater sense of compassion, a greater sense of generosity, then we actually begin to do what our vision for Centers for Spiritual Living is, which is creating that world that works for everyone in all of creation. So let's start with compassion. The word compassion comes from the Latin com, C-O-M, which means to be with, and passion, which means suffering. I always thought that was unusual, that passion, which is something we want to bring into our lives, actually literally means suffering. But so compassion means to be with someone in their suffering, to be with someone in their suffering. But if we look at suffering from a Buddhist point of view, it's not necessarily like we're in pain. It's the desires that we have, the things that we want to have a certain way that aren't a certain way, and different things like that. So it's kind of a broader aspect than just, suffering because I've been injured or wronged or something terrible has happened to me. It's a broader sense of the word suffering. Oftentimes, compassion gets mixed up with sympathy and empathy. Sympathy is to feel sorry for someone. Empathy is to understand what somebody's going through. But compassion, that's empathy on steroids. That's really taking it to that next level, where not only can you understand what they're going through, but you can be with them as they are going through it. There's something very powerful about witnessing, about being present for someone as they are moving through troubled times in their lives. When we can be a place of receptivity to what their suffering is, to what they're going through, there's a shared humanity that happens in that. Something that goes beyond just understanding what somebody's going through or being with them in it. Oftentimes we think that joy is something that we have to bring into ourselves. And we spend way too much time thinking about ourselves. I think if we could get out of our own heads and stop thinking about ourselves so much, then I think we can open up things in a greater way in our lives. Archbishop says that actually thinking about ourselves is what brings us suffering. And it seldom ever brings us a lot of joy. He says the more time you spend thinking about yourself, the more suffering you will experience. But the really cool thing is, when we shift our focus to somebody else, we alleviate our own suffering. When we shift our attention away from ourselves, of our smallness and our closed offness, and we begin to think about other people, we eliminate the suffering in our own lives. It's just not possible for two things to coexist within us at the same time. So, think about some of the people that you actually admire in your life? Just take a moment here and just bring to mind people that you admire in your life. Are these people that are closed off, only thinking about themselves? Or are these people who have a greater sense of connection with the rest of humanity? If I think about any of the people I've admired in my life, they are people who have devoted themselves to being of service to other people, to bringing about an end of violence or segregation or discrimination of any sort. I think about people like Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King Jr. I think about Mother Teresa. I think about people that have worked tirelessly to alleviate suffering in other people. Do you suppose for a moment that they were self-centered and thinking only of themselves in that time? They had a broader perspective about it. They understood that it wasn't just about what was good for them, but what was good for everyone, creating that world that works for everyone. You know, all of the world's religions have a message of love. They have practices sometimes that seem to be contrary to love. But the underwriting message of all of the faith traditions in the world is one of love, is one of acceptance. It's one of empowerment. It does nothing to diminish anyone. It's only when we get our own ideas about how it should be practiced that things like that happen. You know, one of the greatest things about our faith is that we have free will and individual responsibility. We have the choice to make our lives be the way we want them to be, the way that works in this idea of a world that works for everyone. And we take individual responsibility for the experiences that we have in the world. Even if they feel like maybe they've been done to us, we have spiritual practices that let us begin to look at it and say, okay, this wasn't done to me. What's here for me to know? What's here for me to learn? And as we shift ourselves away from that victim consciousness, that victim idea of something's being done to me, then our life opens up in greater ways and we live a more empowered life through all things. You know, the Dalai Lama says that educating our children to have more compassion is the single most important thing that we can do in the world. Educating our children to have more compassion is the most important thing that we can do in this entire world. He goes on to say, we do not need to wait for the next generation to grow up before we can start to experience the benefits of compassion. Indeed, cultivating compassion for even 10 minutes a day can lead to 24 hours filled with joy. And expanding our circle of concern is essential for both our well-being and that of our world. Compassion is absolutely vital for us to experience that world that works for everyone. You know, throughout the course of their time together, the Dalai Lama and the Archbishop spoke more times about this idea of not focusing on ourselves, but focusing on others to bring about more joy, more happiness, more peace into our lives when we shift our ideas away. It's often so easy for us to close off. You know, we've just spent 3 years in a forced, closed-off situation. We've spent 3 years where we were isolating ourselves from other people out of necessity for our own health and well-being and the well-being of others. But that's not our natural state. Our natural state as human beings is to be very social, to be out there in groups and collectives and coming together to have shared experiences. And I think that there's been a tendency after this last 3 years to want to stay closed off, to not want to re-engage in society. And I understand that for lots of reasons. That is still important for people because, you know, health challenges and things like that they have. But honestly, in order to begin to create that world that is working, we need to re-engage in the world. We need to come back together in a collective and shared experience. in whatever way it is that works for you to allow you to feel comfortable being around people. I encourage you to do that. Find those ways to re-engage, because when we close off, we become very single-minded. Our focus becomes very inward. And as I've just said before, when we're thinking about ourselves, we cannot experience compassion, not even for ourselves. Because when we're thinking about ourselves, we're dwelling on all of our issues and problems and things that are going on in our lives. We're not thinking about, how wonderful my life is. It's like, oh, this is small. I've got to keep closed off. And so we've got to begin to expand our point of view by re-engaging in the world. Now, one of the ways that we re-engage in the world is through generosity. Generosity is not just about financial things. There are actually 3 different kinds of generosity. There's the material one. We call that our time, our talent, and our treasure. Giving your time to various organizations, various other people. Giving your treasure, any financial help that you can do for people. And giving your talent. We all have gifts and skills that we can bring to different things to share it. Now, generosity is spoken about in almost every spiritual scripture. Every major faith tradition has a form of it. In Islam, they call it zakat, which is actually one of the 5 pillars of Islam, is to give. In Judaism, it's tzedakah. In Hinduism and Buddhism, they call it dana. And in Christianity, they call it charity. It's giving of yourself to others in whatever way that it works for you in that moment to do. But like I said, it's written about so many times in, I can just think about some of the phrases that I use over and over again whenever I'm writing or speaking or doing anything else. Give and it shall be given back to you. Pressed down, running over. What is it? Full measure, pressed down and running over. I think that's from the book of Luke. It is more blessed to give than to receive. That comes from the book of Acts. And then, of course, we have St. Francis's prayer. It is in giving that we receive. I know that when I have been down in my life, when I have found a way to be of service to somebody else, it snaps me out of it almost instantly. I used to call our bookstore at the church we had over on Harmon my sanctuary, because I'd go in there and volunteer. Got me out of any kind of doldrums that I happened to be in at the time. Just taking my mind off of the smallness of my situation and expanding it into a way that I could be of service. In fact, I had to learn how to say no because it felt so good to say yes. So I had to train myself to say no because, you kind of get overcommitted too. But anyway, I learned that lesson. But it's when I really felt like I needed to lift myself up, I go and find something that I can be of service to. Doesn't matter what it is. Oftentimes I'll call my niece up and say, can I come over and watch the kids for a couple of hours? Well, one, I'm playing with toddlers, so life is good with that. But gives her a break. She can go out and do some grocery shopping without having toddlers with her, and things like that. So there's been all kinds of scientific studies about the effects of generosity on our brain. That it actually, the more we create those neural pathways of being generous to others and being in service to others, the easier it is to do that in the future. But one statistic I found as I was reading this week about it, which really hit home for me. I just lost my father last month, and he died of I never heard of it before, but it's a form of dementia called Lewy body dementia. And my mother passed in 2014, and also from dementia. And so it's been on my mind, literally on my mind. Neither one of their forms are hereditary. So and I don't really buy into a lot of that idea that just because somebody in my family has it, I'm going to get it. I don't really do that. But I have to say, as I'm arranging my parents' funeral services and stuff like that, this idea of dementia has really hit home with me. And I found the statistic, which I'm going to try to find some more about it because it really was powerful. Alzheimer's is reduced by 50% to people who have a purpose for life. If you have a purpose, if you go out and you give and you find a place where you can be of service, Alzheimer's is reduced by 50%. Gives me chills just saying it. That's how important it is to be generous with our time and our talent and our treasures. That's how important it is for us to find a place where we can be of service to the world. 50% reduction in Alzheimer's. You know, it's not just about how we give money. Oftentimes when we think of generosity, we think of it, I have to donate to somebody. It's about that life energy that we're giving to. How am I spending my life energy? What is it that I'm creating from within me through my life energy that's going to be a benefit to other people? That's going to help me physically, help me create neural pathways that are more responsive to the things that are going on in my life, help me reduce things like dementia, it improves our high blood pressure. If you're in service to somebody else, you're out volunteering somewhere, you reduce your high blood pressure. That's pretty cool too. We have better health and a longer life expectancy. They go on to say that generosity seems to be so powerful that just thinking about it will significantly increase the production of the antibody proteins used by our immune system. Just thinking of being generous to someone else makes you produce better proteins to help your immune system. Studies have reported that a 20% reduction in death from all causes for people who engage in volunteering on a regular basis. Compassion and generosity are not just lofty virtues. They are actually things that we can do every single moment of every single day. One of my spiritual teachers, Joel Goldsmith, says that our world work is to be in the world. Be in the world with the people that are in the world, but not let the world be in us. In other words, I live from this place of seeing the problems in the world and stepping into them in an action-oriented way, instead of letting those actions of other people embody themselves inside of me. I don't close off to the world. I actually open up to it. When I first started here at the center, one of the things I did right away was I stopped watching the news. Anybody else? Because I didn't want to hear all that. I was trying to keep myself centered in this place of peace and calm. I now watch the news, read the news on a daily basis, because I know how important it is for me to witness what is going on in the world, to be that place of witnessing consciousness, where I can see what's happened, I can see the problems, and I can know the truth there. I can know that no matter what that situation is, the presence of the divine is right there. Even if I can't explain it to anybody else, I can know it within myself. And when I know it within myself, I'm giving God a place to operate. When I see the stuff that's going on, and I align myself in consciousness with that love intelligence that is always working for the highest and greatest good of everyone, when I align myself with that, I give Spirit a place to operate in the world that it wasn't there before. And if each one of us can do that, when we see a car crash on the side of the road, and we go instantly and just say, okay, I know that the presence of the divine is right there. I know that all is unfolding for the highest and greatest good of everyone. It gives Spirit a place to actually do that work, because that's the way it comes through into this world. It comes through each one of us, through each of its creations. Think about this loving, intelligent creator. Talk about generosity. That it just let itself express as all of the wonderful faces I see before me, all of the plants and trees that are out here. Everything is that essence of the divine. Because it loved so much, it brought itself forth into expression as all of creation. Compassion and generosity. They are the guiding forces to our world work, into creating this world that works for everyone, into bringing more and more joy into the world. And that's what we're here for. So I have a little practice that we can do. I like, I've said before, I'm not about just talking principles without actually putting it into action. So this is a Buddhist technique, similar to the loving kindness meditation, which I talked about earlier this month. And this is about bringing to mind different situations, different people, and then knowing that the presence is right there, knowing that this is happening for them for their highest and greatest good. Whatever the situation is, we bring that presence of peace in there. We bring that presence of love in there. So if you would with me, just take a moment, take a breath. I want you to bring to mind someone that you love very much. It could be a relative, a friend, maybe even a pet. Just try to see their face in your mind's eye. Feel their presence. Notice how your heart feels when you bring this person to mind. And now in your mind, just repeat these lines. May you be free from suffering. May you be healthy. May you be happy. And may you be filled with peace and joy. Now just breathe in, and as you breathe out, imagine a warm light coming from the center of your heart, carrying it outward with all of your love, all of your compassion, all of your generosity to the person you brought to mind. And now bring to mind someone that you know that's having some difficulties right now. Someone that's having some challenges in their life. Notice what it feels like within you as you think about the challenges. Is there any physical feeling, like a heartache or stomach upset? Maybe your chest gets a little tighter. Just simply notice that feeling and stay present with it while imagining that person's face. And then repeat these phrases. May you be free from suffering. May you be happy and healthy. May you find peace and joy. Now bring to mind someone that really bothers you. Could be a group of people, could be just an individual. Someone that really can set you off. Or someone that you have total disdain for. And feel what's going on in your body as you bring that person or that group of people to your mind. And then repeat in your mind, may you be free from suffering. May you be happy and healthy. May you be filled with peace and joy. And take in a breath. Now bring your attention to yourself. Feel what's going on within you. Notice if there's any places of tension or tightness. And then repeat in your mind, I am free from suffering. I am happy and healthy. I am filled with joy. I am at peace. Just taking another deep breath. And let it all out. It's a very easy thing to do when you find yourself in the midst of turmoil with another person, when you find yourself with someone that you care about and you don't know what to do. You can simply turn within and know the spiritual truth for them. Know that the presence of the divine is right there with them. It's right there in them. And it is showing up as them, even in the midst of all the trouble. All right, let's take this into prayer. I invite our spiritual practitioners to stand and surround us. Our practitioners are often called lay ministers in other denominations. These are people who have spent a minimum of 4 years studying. We're dedicated to knowing truth for our entire community and the world. So I just invite you to turn within. I do that by closing my eyes and taking a breath. And so right here and right now, I know that there is only one divine, loving, creative intelligence. I know that one as unconditional love, as perfect peace, as a joy that is impossible to contain. I know that one is the isness and the allness and the fullness of all of life. That nothing exists outside of this one. And because I know there's only one, I know that I am one with it. That all that I am, all that I've ever been, is the presence of the divine. And as I know this is true for me, I know this is true for all of creation. For everyone present in this room, for everyone joining us online, for everyone in the entire universe. I know that we are all a living embodiment of a loving Creator. And therefore I speak my word of truth. I know that joy is the very nature of who and what we are. That it is activated in our soul, that it is living itself from us, that is showing up as us. I know that our full recognition of the power and the presence of joy manifested in all life brings more of it into the world each and every day. That our world work is to recognize that inherent joy that resides within each one of us and bringing it forth into expression so that it is a felt experience by everyone around us. I know that it is through our spiritual practices and our recognition of truth that these principles come alive within us. And this is how we create that world that works for everyone in all of creation. I'm so, so grateful to know this. I'm so grateful to see it in action right here and right now. I'm so grateful to see that spark of joy in every set of eyes that I behold. And so I release this word into that creative, loving intelligence, into the law that does exactly what it does, bringing it forth into expression right here and right now fully. I let this go, knowing it is so. I say, and so it is. Amen. Thank you. All right. All right, so now is that time in our service when we share our gifts and offerings. It's an opportunity for you to be generous if you'd like. And so I invite our ushers to come forth. And while we are sharing our blessings with each other, Justin's going to give us a song. You can give in person now. We also accept electronic donations from our website and our text to give number and so forth. So if you're interested in any of those ways of doing it, please see one of our lovely people in the back. Our leadership council members are in the back there. So, all right, I'm turning it over to Justin.
All right then. Something great has happened. Love has taken hold and it won't let go of us now. Something here is calling us forward, upward motion. Drops in the ocean roll on. Will you rise up with me today? Lift up your voices, boldly say, we are the ones we've been waiting for. Live the dream of your highest calling. Be a hope of a new day dawning. We're the ones who can make a difference. Let's stand together now. Share your gift with the world that's waiting for a hope that we're all creating. Let's be a moment for our greatness. Let's stand together now. Oh, yeah. Every day's a chance you can do something amazing to feel your passion blazing and shine. Paint with every vision and dance in new directions. Explore to the heights in your mind. I will rise up with you today. Lift up your voice and boldly say, we are the ones we've been waiting for. Lead the dream of your highest calling. Be the hope of a new day dawning. We're the ones who can make a difference. Let's stand together now. Share your gifts with the world that's waiting for a change that we're all creating. It's a moment for our greatness. Let's stand together now. Oh, yeah. One dream, one voice, one heart, one world, one dream, one voice, one heart, highest calling. Be the hope of a new day dawning. We're the ones who can make a difference. Let's stand together now. Share your gifts with the world that's waiting for a change that we're all creating. It's a moment for our greatness. Let's stand together now. Live the dream of your highest calling. Be the hope of a new day dawning. We're the ones who can make a difference. Let's stand together now. Share your gifts with the world that's waiting for a change that we're all creating. It's a moment for our greatness. Let's stand together now.
Thank you, Justin. Got a few announcements here, not too many. We are reforming our service teams. So this month, our practitioners and a few key volunteers have been so generous with their time and talent and all of that jazz to help us with our service teams. But we're in need of ushers and greeters and people to handle our hospitality in the back. And so I have some sign-up sheets over here on the table. Also, if you'd like to sign up to bring some treats for our hospitality, there's a sign-up sheet for that too. Or if you're interested in sponsoring flowers for our service, that's available. And speaking of flowers, our teens will be having a flower sale on Easter Sunday, April 9th, right here in our sanctuary. They're going to be, Kaylee Marshall is bringing in some arrangements that she's made, small bouquets. What are they, Kelly, about $25, $20? $20 bouquets of Easter flowers for you. So if you're interested in supporting our teens as they go to camp and do all of the wonderful things that they do, they'll be here available for you on the 9th. If you haven't signed up, you're new here and you haven't signed up yet for our newsletter, there's a sign-up sheet in the lobby there that you can make sure that you get your name on there. You can find out what's happening here in our community. Next, I guess it's not next Tuesday, it's the following Tuesday, we have our first Tuesday supper club. The first Tuesday in each month, we have our supper club, and we will be, we don't know the location yet, but the announcement will be going out about that. But if you're interested in joining us for dinner one night, sign up on our website. All the information is there for that. So, I think that's all the announcements. Where is it? I lost it. So, I want to leave you with this. This is what Desmond Tutu says during the end of the book. I am created in the image of God. I am a God carrier. It is fantastic. I have been growing in God-likeness, in caring for the other. Each time I have acted compassionately, I have experienced a joy in me that I find in nothing else. I am a God center, and joy is inherent in my life. Would you repeat that after me? I am a God center, and joy is inherent in my life. Have a beautiful and blessed week, and we will see you all here next week. We have fellowship in the back, coffee and some goodies, tea, cocoa, all kinds of stuff, so please join us. If you can, stay and help us put the tables and chairs back together, too. That would be appreciated.
Take a break. I'm a hot air balloon that could go to space. With the air, like I don't care, baby, by the way.